Hi guys. This is probably not going to be as long. I'm going to try to make it as long as I can. With the hurricane and everything, and everybody freaking out, and me working at a hardware store, you can only imagine. So I've basically been doing a lot of double shifts over the last three days, and I'm like really exhausted. So sorry if I'm such a mess. So I'm gonna try to fly through this, get straight to the point. Well, the assignment I had was a graphic novel called Lovely Horrible Stuff by Eddie Campbell. The cover design was also done by Eddie Campbell and Chris Ross, and the publisher is the Top Shelf Production. The page count on it was 100, so it was a decent size amount of pages. Um, Now, I won't lie, this was a very difficult novel to read. It seemed pretty interesting. The graphics on it were really good. Just, I did not like the lettering on it. Because, in my opinion, I think they should have used probably like a Comic Sans or something a little bit easier on the eyes. Like, it took me several times reading the same pages over and over to try to figure out what was what. The reason why I say that is because there's a lot of the letters, such as the letter A, looked more like a 2 than an A, so I would have to go back and I would have to like read it. I would have to focus on it. It just was not easy on the eyes. So I wouldn't really recommend it to a classmate unless they like reading. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just the lettering on it was just terrible. I'm trying to think here for a minute because like I said, I am very tired. With any of my friends or anything, I also wouldn't recommend the book. It's basically talking about money, and this guy's got a really big, wild imagination. He basically lives inside his head. It's got a little bit of humor to it. Pretty quirky or whatever. He does do a lot of like Shakespearean type stuff in it. Like his imagination, it just goes from one thing to the next. On the acts, I believe Act 1 ends on page 8. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, like the beginning of it, he's talking to a woman and he's calling this money horrible stuff. And it's like he's trying to save it, and it just goes out the window. Oh, goodness. So, and sorry if my hands are a little shaky because, like, I'm using my phone. I couldn't get the camera on my computer to work for some reason, so I'm trying to improvise here. It's better than nothing. He basically like starts out with a woman typing what he's saying, and then all of a sudden he's inside of a bar and there's like a Shakespearean looking character that's it's all in his head, and then all of a sudden he's like in some type of jungle thing and there's like reptiles or something, and it's just like one after the other. So, and sorry if it sounds like I'm losing my voice too, because I'm like, it's tough. This is like a little fact that I saw towards the end of the book. Apparently, him and his friend had, I guess, wrote this a while back, and they liked the whole Shakespearean stuff, so that's the reason why they added some of the Shakespearean stuff in it. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make sure I get at least as much of this in as I can. I don't really see a true goal in this, unless you count him trying to work on saving money. It just basically just seems like the guy's imagination is just all over the place and is really wild, and so he doesn't really seem to have a set goal, not that I could see. I'll probably have to go back and read it a few more times because, like I said, like a couple of pages I had to read like over and over before I could like it could register what I was reading. I don't really see. I'm trying to think. Sorry if I keep looking away from the camera here. I wrote down notes and I'm trying to like read them, and yeah. The book does support the character, because like I said, it's basically the horrible stuff he's calling is the money, so it supports that throughout the entire novel. That it does support. Again, I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody. I'm not saying it's a bad book, like it's not a bad graphics novel. I just think if they did like a different type of font to it, it would be a lot easier to read. That is pretty much all I can think of at the moment. I'm hoping I covered as much as I could. So but yeah, again, I'm not really seeing a true goal. It does support the character, just doesn't really have a set goal in mind. I think that's gonna be pretty much all for me tonight. I wish I could have done a lot better. If it wasn't all crazy over this way because of the storm and everybody freaking out, it'd probably be a little bit better. I hope everybody stays safe, and good night.